Consumer expectations are scaling at a rate that manual production simply cannot match. When marketing teams try to keep up using traditional methods, the sheer volume of content required to stay relevant begins to overtake the desk. The standard response is to use AI to speed up existing tasks. This is the optimization trap, using new technology to accelerate a process designed for a different era. Making a slow, disconnected workflow faster doesn't fix the underlying friction. A sustainable agentic workflow treats AI as the engine for the entire multi-channel content supply chain. This isn't an add-on. It is a reinvention of how work moves from a brief to a final asset. Deploying a holistic agentic model addresses the content supply chain from start to finish. This structural change compresses campaign build times from weeks to days without lowering brand standards. Success requires looking at the entire value chain rather than isolated tasks. If you only apply AI to copywriting, you ignore the delays in planning, approvals, and distribution that actually drive up costs. Mapping the workflow reveals which steps are no longer necessary. Instead of making an approval chain faster, you can often scale by deleting redundant manual checks and replacing them with a single automated checkpoint. This creates 4 pillars for the organization: the new workflow, a workforce trained to use it, a workbench of connected tools, and a digital core of data to power the system. Efficiency is found in the structure of the process. Eliminating obsolete steps provides more value than simply performing a bad habit at a higher speed. This transition starts with a phase where humans work with an AI assistant. For this to take hold, leaders must go first. When executives use the technology in their own daily routines, it helps address team concerns about the future of their roles. Training should be specific to each role. A social media manager needs different prompting and data summarization skills than a media buyer or a creative director. In this phase, the change is operational. Teams use AI co-pilots to turn messy meeting transcripts or raw research notes into clear, structured briefs that serve as a clean starting point for projects. These daily habits build the organizational confidence needed to move toward more complex, autonomous systems. In Phase 2, the relationship shifts to human-led agents. Here, the marketer sets the strategy and dictates the brief, while a digital agent executes the production of multi-channel assets. This content supply chain begins with the human inputting the strategic goals and brand guidelines. These parameters ensure that the agent remains within the defined visual and verbal identity of the brand. From that single brief, the agent can simultaneously generate web pages, social variations, and blog drafts. The agent handles the formatting and population, while the marketer directs the output. Global brands like Coca-Cola use this model to manage thousands of creative variations. This allows them to stay consistent with brand standards across hundreds of different markets while responding to local customer behaviors. This shift turns a marketing team from a group of manual creators into directors of a high-volume production engine. Phase 3 introduces autonomous customer-facing agents. This moves AI from the back office to the direct customer touchpoint, where agents work on the marketer's behalf around the clock. These agents are deployed with a narrow, specific focus, such as providing expert technical specs or licensing support, trained on verified product data to ensure accuracy. This replaces the legacy experience of clicking through static menus. Customers instead engage in a fluid conversation, getting immediate answers in a natural interface. As the team offloads these repetitive production cycles, the hours once spent on manual adjustments begin to aggregate. This reclaimed capacity must be reinvested into higher-level strategy. However, optimizing purely for speed carries a risk. If every brand uses the same language models to generate their content, every campaign begins to sound and look identical. Humans must review these agent-generated outputs to inject specific brand texture, the emotional resonance, and contextual nuances that probability-based models often miss. The value of an agentic workflow is its ability to remove the burden of manual execution, allowing your team to focus on the creative perspective that sets the brand apart. This new operating system delivers measurable results. By reinventing the workflow, organizations have seen campaign creation times drop from 16 days to 6, while cutting redundant content production in half. Avoid the delay of waiting for a perfect toolset. Launch a small Phase 2 workflow immediately to test how these agents handle a single campaign in your current environment. The first step is mapping your next multi-channel brief. Start building the framework for your new digital agent today.